Time now for the markets with Leighton. And Leighton, say we have some positive news for rice producers.
An increase in rice exports is being forecast. Also ahead in this segment this week, record high world stocks of cotton could weaken that market's outlook. Wheat prices hit a 4-month low on Tuesday, while a Mississippi-based poultry company surprises analysts. Record high carryover stocks around the world could be the biggest factor that may impact the cotton market as the end of the year rapidly approaches. Extension Ag economist John Michael Riley says planted acreage could in fact be down across parts of the cotton belt in 2013 because of bearish fundamentals. John Michael, what kind of sentiment are you having as far as cotton, and we look ahead to 2013?
Well, if you just look back since about mid-November, there's been definitely an uptrend in cotton prices. A lot of that has been driven by export demand. Even in the face of what most consider a strengthening dollar, that's usually negative for our exports, but cotton's been pretty resilient up until this past week and has seen exports growing at a pretty good pace. So that has really played into stronger prices. Now last week we did see the weekly export number came in a little below the previous week, but still above the rolling 4-week average. So for the most part, even in the face of a shaky global economy, it appears that China is seeing some growth in their economic numbers coming in, manufacturing, GDP. It does look like China is finally coming out of their short rut, and they are the big buyer, and as a result of that, it looks like cotton is benefiting due to the growth in exports.
But there are a lot of world stocks out there, right? I mean, we're still facing a lot of stocks out there.
That's all good news, but you're right. The global economy is very, very nervous right now. There are some issues that need to be dealt with, and some growth from an entire aggregated global standpoint. There needs to be more growth, and we do have a tremendous amount of cotton stocks out there in other countries. But here recently there has been some bright spots where some of the other commodities hadn't really seen that. So that's been good for cotton.
And we are anticipating, obviously, less acreage perhaps in the next year.
It wouldn't surprise me, given where the other prices are for corn and soybeans, the big competitors for those acres. Just based on what we know today, it would surprise me if we saw a huge increase in cotton acres. Cotton prices, the increases might help, but for the most part, I don't see a huge shift.
And of course, you've mentioned economy, but of course the fiscal cliff talks, that situation as far as the U.S. economy and how that would impact cotton and other commodities, that's certainly in play here.
That is definitely in play. As I've mentioned many times, cotton is very finicky about the consumer demand in the United States, so this fiscal cliff issue could play a huge role in 2013.
After dropping to a 4-month low on Tuesday this past week, wheat futures opened Wednesday with a little rally. Analysts say this market seems to have found support below $8.20 for the time being anyway. Weather forecasts for beneficial rains out in the plains are adding to wheat's negative undertone this week. The up and down movement in the rice trade is likely to continue through the upcoming holidays. This according to reports posted on agfacts.com. A strong downturn on Tuesday moved January rice futures back near recent support levels. The USDA, though, is forecasting an increase in exports for rice for the 2013 season. Our trivia quiz this week deals with the grain sector. Our question is about food production, and here it is for you. How many pounds of pasta can be made from a bushel of wheat? 23 pounds, or 42 pounds, or 51 pounds, or as many as 60 pounds? You'll find out here in a few more minutes. Mississippi chicken producer Sanderson Farms surprised analysts with its fourth quarter performance. The company posted net income of 41 cents a share, beating analyst expectations of only 32 cents a share. A year ago, Sanderson posted a loss of 97 cents a share. CEO Joe Frank Sanderson says he believes that margins improved because of production rather than higher demand for poultry. The cattle industry got 2 reports to mull over on Friday the 21st, the monthly cattle on feed and the cold storage report. Even before those numbers arrived, analyst Naomi Bloom was talking about the problems that she sees ahead for the beef sector in the first quarter of 2013.
If you look at cattle futures, the live cattle futures, they've got some solid support between like 130 and 132, and I think it's going to continue to hold because of that production being down so much. The one thing I would add is that demand, I feel, is really going to slip into first quarter because people are going to get their credit card bills for Christmas, and then they're not going to have too much money to spend necessarily on things like steak anymore. And also, we're probably going to see the demand fall, especially if the cliff happens, because then normal people making between $40,000 and $80,000 a year are going to have between $1,000 and $2,000 less a year to spend. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're on a fixed income, it's substantial. So I don't think we're going to see those extremely high prices and bullish sentiment continue into the first quarter. I don't think we'll see things fall apart though either, but just mostly stay firm.
Before this week's new feature story, here's the trivia answer for you. B is the right choice. 42 pounds of pasta can be made from 1 bushel of wheat. That's over 200 servings of spaghetti.